All right, guys, so we're out in the shop here the next day, fixing to get started on working on the valve over here. Got it in the last video, got it in the shop, got it up on blocks here, the front end jacked up, got up under there and pulled the hydraulic slave cylinder or clutch servo, whatever you want to call it, off. The transmission is bad. The input shaft bearing looks to have come apart. That's what happened, and that would explain what I was feeling in the clutch pedal before this occurred. It felt like a slight buzz to it that just didn't feel quite right to me, and I was thinking maybe a throwout bearing, and I was going to take a look at it after I haul that load. But anyway, evidently it was the input bearing and the transmission coming apart, and that's what happened. And so I've got to have a transmission, a reman transmission, and a clutch. It broke the bell housing and the adapter that the clutch servo or slave cylinder goes on to the bell housing. They're trying to locate me one to get me one in a reasonable time. I found one that's took like a week and a half, 2 weeks to get. So I may have to wind up welding this one up after I get it apart. We're gonna try to get the transmission out. I'm gonna try to film what I can, but this is kind of a rush job. Like I say, I got a load sitting on the trailer out here that has to get delivered, or I'm gonna have to get it repowered, which is gonna cost me even more money. And so if I don't go step by step on this, I apologize, but I'm gonna try to film what I can of it. I don't know how well the lighting's gonna be up under here or whatnot. We need to try to get this transmission out. Tomorrow is Friday, and if I can get this transmission out today, it's already past dinner, but if I can get this out today and be able to figure out exactly everything I need. I've been on the phone all morning trying to locate what I think I need. I'll know more whenever I get it apart. I've located most everything that I think I'm going to need, but I got to get it out. Got to have that transmission as a core and make sure there's nothing else that I can tell. I don't know about that hydraulic slave cylinder, if it damaged it or not. I'm hoping it did not, because they said that thing was like 800 bucks if it is. But anyway, let me catch this phone call and I'll get up under here and be right back with you. All right, guys, so this is all the parts we got scattered everywhere, as you see. I don't know if I can show you up inside the bell housing there or not. Get my light on my phone here, maybe that'll help shine up in there. But the input shaft of the transmission is in there crooked, as you see. It's wiped out the clutch, pressure plate, whole 9 yards. Bell housing, it broke this ear off right here, as you see. It's cracked. They're trying to locate me one of those at a different place now, saying he thinks he may have one. If he can have it tomorrow, I guess we'll go with that. If not, I'm gonna try to weld it and go that way, I suppose. But I'm worried about that crack. You know, I don't know what the odds are if that thing going on around and continuing to crack around on there or there. But we also got a crack on that ear, which that's not as big a deal, I don't believe, because it's still got 3 bolts to hold it in, and that should be able to be welded right there on that piece. And this piece comes off, you know, with the transmission in there, as you see, so it's not that big of a deal. I don't know if the slave cylinder here is bad. It's very possible. Yeah, it's got brake fluid coming out of it there. It looks like it's got brake fluid coming out of it out, so that thing's gonna be bad as well. Yep, I think it is. Boy, this is a bad deal. Yeah, it seems to be leaking brake fluid out. So anyways, guy's supposed to be calling me back on that. What a mess. So I guess I'm gonna get started here. Bad as I hate to, I gotta try to get something done. All right, guys. Got a guy looking for a bell housing. He thought he had the right one, but it is not. I found a part number on this one. I just sent him and I took a picture of it. He said the picture looked like a normal bell housing with an adapter on it for the hydraulic slave cylinder, because the bell housing for a hydraulic slave cylinder doesn't have that adapter. Basically, the adapter looking thing is all built into the housing as one piece, so it's different. But I found a part number over there that I sent to him, and if anybody else has got a Volvo, I will see if I can share that part number with you here. Alright guys, he's saying that that part number that I was telling you there is 4305819, is an old part number, and the new style is the style like he is saying here. He sent me a picture. I'm going to try to show you guys that, and he's telling me that it is they changed the style of it basically to a newer style, and I'm a little hesitant on it. So that is the new style right there that he sent me the picture of, and you can see the bottom of it, how it is kind of made the same, and it looks like your hydraulic clutch servo or slave cylinder would bolt right into that, but I don't know about the clutch fork and how that works. And I also don't like the fact that you could not get to does not appear you could get to the clutch to adjust it or whatever without putting a self-adjusting clutch in there. So I don't know. We'll have to check into it a little bit more here. Alright guys, I figured I'd show you where I'm at. I've got some of the top bell housing bolts loose. I've got the transmission oil cooler loose right here on top. I need to get up here and take a picture of these airlines, even though they'll probably be different on the next transmission. I still want to take a picture of them just in case they are the same, that I can have some kind of reference. You get my light turned on here. You got the bell housing bolts up there on the front. I've got the shift tower bolts right there that go into the transmission case here. It looks like I need a new bushing right there where that shifter is at. It is loose. Here's the oil cooler where it bolts on right there. Anyway, I've got everything pretty well except for those airlines and the bottom bell housing bolts, I think, to get ready to drop this thing out. Looks like I'm gonna need a new clutch slave cylinder pressure hose. Looks like that was getting ready to go out there, and that may be where the brake fluid that I seen was coming from, was that pressure hose right there. Hopefully it is, and not that $800 slave cylinder there, but I guess we won't know until I get a new hose and put on it. But I tried to clean that off with brake clean and whatnot. I'm gonna have to put that one U-joint in right there because the needle's scattered everywhere. When I pull the cap off, it's about out of grease. They said these U-joints is $200 and something a piece. So hopefully we can just replace that one right now, and I'll get this load delivered and make a few runs. I'm gonna need a swing bearing and some other stuff, and I'll call him back in a minute. But I'm trying to get this thing out. The guy's supposed to be calling me back about that bell housing again when he finds out a little more information. He's telling me the one he thinks is a new style, this is the old style, and there's a difference in the clutch fork, and he's trying to locate that information. However accurate that is, I don't know, but that would speed things up and make things better if he has a new one, but it's going to cost $1,000 to get that. From what I understand, basically with the freight and everything. This clutch fork down here may or may not be bent as well. It looks like it may be spread apart. I'm not exactly sure, but if we get the new bell housing, we'll have to get a different style clutch fork anyway, because the new bell housing has this adapter piece built into it, so it has a different fork, but the same slave cylinder is supposed to bolt up to it with those 4 bolts right there. So I don't know for sure on that, but guy's supposed to be calling me back. But all we like, I think, is getting the lower bell housing bolts right there on each side, all the way around. I've got the top ones loose, and getting a jack under here and strapped down after I get those air lines disconnected. And we got to remove these oil cooler lines right here, transmission cooler lines, and it probably would be a good idea to replace those, honestly. And we're gonna have to flush the metal and stuff out of this transmission cooler. Boy, this is a bad deal. Anyway, that's where we're at right now. Just want to give you a little update, and I'm gonna get those air lines loose and try to get this thing on out of here. All right, guys, so I took a few more bell housing bolts out. I think I've got about everything loose. He's going to check on me a clutch line from the Volvo place. He has a contact over there. That'll save me running around if this guy can get stuff and get it for me, maybe. But we got a lot of parts here that's piled up under here. I need to get pushed out of the way and see about what's going on there, so I can get the jack up under it. All we like is a few bolts, I think, and this thing should be ready to drop out on the ground. All right, guys, we got the transmission jack here. I've got to find another piece of chain over there. It's long enough to go around here, or use a ratchet strap one. I would prefer the chain, but we'll see what we got here to get this done. Need to find something so the thing don't fall off. All right, guys, I just pulled the cooler lines loose there, letting what oil's right there run out all over the place and make a bigger mess than what I already got. But it bees that way sometimes. I've got this jack around here with this chain that's not very good. They didn't make this jack very well to put a chain on it. I need to do something better than that, really. Really wasn't planning on having to use this thing, but it is what it is. But I think we're about ready to try to get this thing to separate. I got to pull these bell housing bolts out right here. I got 4 or 5 of them left, and then we'll be ready to try to see if we can get this thing to come loose. So I'm gonna set you guys up somewhere here, maybe. I have no clue if you can really see anything there. I guess if you can, I'll delete the footage. Maybe. Got this 9-mile long extension here that I'm using because it was easy to get to the top bell housing bolts up there with it. Behind and get one on the other side, I think is left. Alright, I think that should be all of them. At least I hope so. Alright, try to take a little pressure off. Pressure on them bolts there. Get that out with that. See how it's laying here handy. I think it's out. It's just in a bind and jacked it up a little too high, I think. Yep, there These got a little washer on them, which you're supposed to have, maybe. I had a screwdriver out here somewhere. Now maybe I can pull it back. These jacks don't roll very well, that much weight on them. I hope this stupid thing don't fall off of the jack. That's what the hard part is, trying to get the doggone jack to roll. Creeper doesn't want to roll either. Oh man, you get a pry bar or something, I guess. This will do me any good or not. Ooh. That baby's heavy toward the back still. Oh yeah, when your input shaft is wedged in the freaking clutch housing sideways. Boy, that is sweet. Take a look and see if I can see anything hanging on anything. Some hairlines. Ooh, got that hanging on something there. Oh, bolt that I dropped a while ago. Cooler's loose, shift tower's loose, wires is loose. Like it's hanging on something on the other side. I don't know if it is or not. I can't see. Ow. The shift tower may be hanging it. About all that little jack wants to know that. Shift tower's clear. Oil cooler's clear. We'll try to ease her down. Oh, nope, I see what the deal is. Airline right there I missed. Why didn't y'all tell me I missed the airline? Y'all didn't see it either, did you? That's the main airline too. I don't know why I missed that, but I did. We're probably gonna have to replumb some
air anyway. Okay, got that loose. Now let's try to go down with it. See if that gets us anywhere. Get it to roll back some. Well, she's on the ground. And I gotta get, probably going to jack the truck up a little bit higher to get it up high enough to come out from under here. What it's looking like. What a deal, what a deal. Yeah, I might have to jack the truck up just a little bit more. I thought I was. Alright guys, this is the front of the transmission here. I'm trying to get it out from under this battery box. I had to jack it up another block to the sketchy point there. And I got it so I can get it rolled out here maybe. Like I say, old jack doesn't roll too well. Creeper doesn't roll too well. This probably is a pretty easy fix on this transmission. It's going to need a shaft there, input shaft, that gear, input bearing, and probably a bearing kit and whatnot. It's probably all that's wrong with it because it had oil in it. I don't know why it come apart, but the downtime and me having this load is going to prevent me from doing that, because it'd take about a week to get all that done. By the time I get parts and go through it. So the easiest thing for me to do is to get a reman transmission and put her back in there. So I've got to strip all this stuff down, got to take the bell housing off, got to take the output yoke off, and probably these sensors as well. I'm not exactly sure on that. The pipes right there for the oil cooler, I think they have to come off. So several things I've got to take off of it, strip it down for core. We'll roll back up under here and check out the input shaft, because we have to pull the clutch off. And I don't know if the pilot bearing went out and that's what caused all this or what, but there's the input shaft wedged in the doggone flywheel sideways. I have I've never seen that. That is crazy. there's the part of the input bearing. I guess it's, no, maybe that's part of the, there was a bearing here. What a mess, son. What a mess. I ain't never seen nothing like that. Jeez. Alright, well, I'm gonna take a picture of this with my phone, I guess. That's a Mid-America clutch. I'm gonna have to go ahead and pull that loose. I guess there's no worries in it getting damaged. I may just pull the bolts out of it and let it hit the concrete here, because as long as I stay out of the way, I don't think the clutch is going to get damaged, because it's already foobarred. We ain't got to worry about that. Anywho, so I'll do that, and we'll check out the pilot bearing in there and the what the surface on the flop wheel looks like and all that stuff. But the clutch was working well up until this happened. So we'll see here. Alright guys, well, there's the input shaft that's in two pieces and twisted off. So I guess that's what the big bang was when stuff started scattering, is the input shaft twisted off. So I don't know if that was caused by the bearing went out in there to start with. Because for some reason I could feel a chattering, and I think this input shaft and the clutch didn't want to release when it took off that red light. So evidently this input shaft was starting to twist, and it looks like, by looking at the metal there, it had a slight break in it, and then it broke on off. That's what it appears to me. So I'm guessing that could be caused by the driver driving like an asshole. What do you think? I mean, I really don't know what else to say that would cause that. Maybe I need to put a rock under the gas pedal. Unless the transmission locked up, which has got oil in it, or something, you know, something like that happened. I just don't know what else would have caused that to twist. I mean, I always let off the clutch at an idle before I give it gas, but I have been known to you know, accelerate pretty quickly, getting on an on ramp or taking off whatnot sometimes. I don't know if that's what twisted that shaft or what, being loaded and taken off, or I don't know, but it's definitely screwed up. That I can tell you. The pilot bearing is still good in the well, I ain't gonna say still good, but it's still in there, and it's still in one piece. It feels kind of rough, of course, obviously. By looking at this you can tell why, but anyway, that's what's left of the throwout bearing and pressure plate there. What a doggone mess. Anywho, I got to get this stuff finished, stripped down here. Boy, there's pieces and parts falling out everywhere. That way tomorrow I can go and try to get a new clutch and a new transmission, and hopefully this won't happen again. Alright guys, I'm just trying to get all the stuff taken off of here for the core. I'm fixing to remove the yoke, or try to. I've removed the temperature sensor, the backup light sensor, the speed sensor I couldn't get out. I broke it trying. I'll get a new one. And I still got to remove the coolant pipes right there, transmission coolant pipes, possibly that vent. We're going to see if this Milwaukee will break this nut loose here. 2 3/4 inch heavy wall deep axle and yoke socket. get out the 1-inch gun. Alright guys, I've got the old transmission here loaded on a pallet in the back of the truck, so I can see about getting one tomorrow. I've got everything stripped off of it. I think I got the yoke off. The speed sensor broke, taking it out. I don't know what where my camera cut off at. My SD card got full and I had to swap. I'm gonna carry what's left of the clutch just in case we need any information off of it. There's carrying the yoke. I need to get a huge one. I don't know if that reluctor wheel will come with the new one or not. It should, but it may not. So I threw it in there just in case we might need to do something with that. Got quite the mess in here. I had to finish cleaning this up and cleaning up out from under the truck and everything. I cranked the engine up. It sounds okay. This is the bell housing, the old bell housing, what's left of it with a busted out piece. I could probably fix that, weld it up and run it, but I'd rather have a new one. That way I don't have to mess with that, because it is completely nasty and filthy inside, and that'd be probably 4 or 5 hours of labor spent there trying to get that clean enough to weld, drilling this crack out, grinding, getting it tacked in there, grinding it out, welding it up, and making it look right for it to work. And as I say, we're kind of in a time crunch here, so the guy's supposed to be getting me another one. Like I say, it's made a little different. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you think the input bearing went out, the transmission had plenty of oil in it. You can see the oil trail through the shop here. Oil was everywhere, and so it had plenty of oil in it. It wasn't like it was run low or anything like that. So I don't know if that input bearing went out and caused the transmission to lock up, or start trying to lock up and twisted that input shaft off, or if metal fatigue got it over the time. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I mean, on one hand, I know I kind of drive aggressively a little bit sometimes, probably more so than what I should, but on the other hand, I also know that I've seen videos of these guys drag racing these trucks and with those 13 speeds and 18 speeds and stuff, and pulling the front tire off the ground, loaded in a drag racing with, loads of lumber and stuff. You see those videos on YouTube. So they say these transmissions will take a lot of power through them, but this is a stock power truck. So I don't know what happened with it. All right, guys, so I have found some more information on this broken input shaft that I wanted to include in this video for those of you who are curious. I'm going to show you this bulletin here. This is a bulletin number. You should be able to Google this and find this and read all this if you want. But basically, what they're saying is a 45-degree angle fracture, like that shaft failed, is caused by a torque spike above 4,500 foot-pounds, and it causes a crack. And then it says the crack can grow days, weeks, or months before the shaft fails, and this also can be caused by aggressive lever shifts or splitter shifts. I am guilty of doing both. I've played King of the Hill a time or two, trying to make it to the top of the hill, and some aggressive shifting. You would think that thing would be a little stronger than that. I have seen videos of guys in the tractor pulls, pulling sled pulls and stuff, and those trucks that's loaded with lumber racing up the hill, where they're pulling the front tire off the ground. I don't know how in the world they survived that if this broke under stock power, just because of aggressive shifts. But that's what the bulletin says, so we'll go with that. Also, could be a result from spinning and then the tires catching traction. I have had that happen a time or two at light throttle, pulling out of a place. When the tires climb up on the road, they spin a little bit, but usually you're at very, very light throttle. So I doubt that to be an issue. Another thing I thought that is not on here is I wonder, under heavy Jake brake usage, in a lower gear maybe, could that cause the torque spike and cause this type of fracture as well. But I think the main problem here is probably just aggressive shifting over time. That transmission had 1,100,000 on it,
and you know, probably just fatigue. And so this is the 45-degree angle here, and this is a secondary damage, which it all did when everything come apart. And you can pause that and read it if you like, or you can look this up and read all about it if you want to. Here's another picture they're showing where it starts at the bottom of the root here, and just gradually grows over time. And I'm guessing that's what happened. So I don't know what originally caused it to start, what the torque spike was, or if it was just metal fatigue over you know, aggressive shifting. This is a second type of fracture that can occur. This is a star type fracture. This is not what happened to mine, but it is a second type of fracture that they have seen that's in this article here. And basically they're saying that this can happen due to continuous operation at or near the design limit of the shaft. So I guess if you're constantly pulling heels under heavy load, that eventually the shaft can get fatigued and just break. So that seems to me like this input shaft is not really big enough for the horsepower that the engines are putting out. Because back in the day when this stuff was originally designed, the engines wasn't putting out but about half the horsepower. So that is, let's see, a blank page. That is another picture of the star type torsional cracks that spread throughout and cause it to break that way. And another picture of it. And I did find a couple more stuff when I did a Google search. There was another YouTube video I found that a guy had an 18 speed. He was climbing a hill and his broke. And I did see another guy that I think had an 18 speed as well, behind in a Peterbilt, I think, behind a cat that found on a forum or something that said his broke and the truck didn't even have 500,000 miles on it. So I don't really know what the original, as I say, torque spike could have been. Aggressive shifting, definitely guilty of that, you know. So it could have been just the aggressive shifting and, you know, heavy Jake brake usage for a couple of years or whatever the case, for several years. And it finally got to fatigued and broke. That's all I can tell you. If anybody would like to add anything else, leave it in the comments. I would love to hear from the guys that do some of the tractor pulling and that sort of stuff, to see what they got going on and how they make this last. If they change the thing every time they put a clutch in, or do they break them often? Because I've seen videos of them trucks, you know, with the front left tire off the ground, 2 foot, and the frame twisting on them, you know, pulling 100,000-pound loads up a hill, doing sled pulls, all that sort of stuff, and it seems to be holding together. So it's kind of odd failure, but evidently it's not the first time it ever happened, because Eaton has got a bulletin about it. So that's all I know about it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.